Welcome to Spill the Ink, a podcast by Reputation Inc., where we feature experts in growth and brand visibility for law firms and architecture, engineering, and construction firms. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hey everyone, Michelle Calcote-King here. I'm the host of this show and also the principal and president of Reputation Inc. We're a public relations and content marketing agency for professional services firms, including architecture, engineering, and construction firms. To learn more, go to rep-inc, that's inc with a K.com, or email us at info@rep-inc.com. So our guest today is Lindsay Diven. She's well known in the AEC field, so I'm very excited to have her here today. She's the marketing and sales manager for the Blackbox Connectors and the founder of Marketers Take Flight, a consulting firm that trains new and veteran AEC marketers, providing proposal management training through online courses and coaching. She also hosts a podcast by the same name. For more than 15 years, Lindsay has worked with architecture and engineering firms to build sales and marketing strategies that have resulted in increased revenue, growth, and profit. Prior to her current roles, she served as a marketing director for a 300-person architecture and engineering firm. As a member of the executive team, she was responsible for growing the firm into new markets. So welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm so happy to do this on video. Most of my podcasts, I might have to try this out. Most of my podcasts are just audio only.
Audio only.
Different feeling. So it's nice.
I know. I did audio for the first year and decided to add it. Just, YouTube's such a big thing and just thought it would kind of add that element. It's sort of like when you do calls on, on Zoom now, you realize how much seeing that face really does kind of help with just the engagement and interaction and all that. So
yeah, I think
we've all learned that lesson this year. So, well, let's start. I did that kind of, formal intro of you, but I'd love to hear you tell me about sort of how you started Marketers Take Flight. Like what was the need that you saw?
Yeah. So like you said, I started in this industry, 15 plus years now. And I started out as a marketing coordinator. Like so many people so many marketers start out in our industry. And I was one of a marketer in an office, but we had a bigger team nationwide. And so I learned a lot from others that trained me. And then I hired my first marketing coordinator and I trained her. And then I moved firms and then suddenly had 5 marketing coordinators that all did things differently. We wanted to bring some process and order to it, to the proposal management. So throughout the course of 5 or 6 years, I learned from my mentors, the internet, and just doing and training others. There had to be an easier way to train marketing coordinators. My degree's in marketing, but no part of my degree was anything about proposal management, proposal production, proposal writing, anything like that. So that's really what prompted me because, my network were other marketing managers and we were all desperate to hire people. We still are desperate to hire people and everybody wants seasoned people because it's so hard to train them because it's just, you hit the ground running when you start. So I wanted to be able to provide some resources, the resources that I've gathered and used, put them out there. It started with a blog in 2012. And then in 2017, I really hit the ground running with some online training courses, the Proposal Pro course, which is really like any marketing new person to proposals can take that and in 6 to 8 weeks, really know what they're doing, going through those modules. Started the podcast. I love the podcast because I get to talk with people like you and just great minds in our industry. I get to talk with them all the time and just other types of training resources. Because while there are conferences and there are industry specific conferences and webinars, sometimes you just need that whole start to finish. Like what happens when you get an RFP on your desk to when you submit it? And conferences are really good to energize you and to get new ideas, but sometimes we just need the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very needed. And I have to say, I'm the same way about podcasting. I absolutely love it. It's such a great networking tool. The amount of connections I've made has been phenomenal. So it's a really great tool. Well, that really is filling a really serious gap because you're right. People don't take how to write an architecture, engineering, and construction proposal in college. It really is such a And in AEC marketing specifically, they spend a lot of time. It can take up, an entire job. It can take up an entire department. But so I wanted to, we're actually not going to focus on proposals today.
Right.
Lindsay and I kind of chatted beforehand about what to tackle. And we thought we'd talk about digital marketing. So, the AEC industry, it's not the most advanced with these things. So let's talk about, who are you seeing AEC firms do anything in digital marketing or anything innovative? Tell me about the state of the industry right now.
Right. I think just like a lot of other things with COVID, we've been pushed forward, I think, faster than what we are used to, like remote working and hybrid working. So I think it's evolving faster than it would have naturally occurred. I am seeing some firms, we have some clients like an engineering firm, Kleinschmidt. They took their thought leadership content, or one of their thought leaders, and they've actually put together a webinar series that's paid. Like, you have to pay to attend.
Wow.
A webinar series. They get a lot of their clients in there because they offer CEUs and these certain, and it's not very exciting stuff, but it's position, but their engineer is leading it. And he's known for, they do like hydraulic engineering, dam engineering, water engineering, all of that stuff. But so things like that, where you don't think, well, we don't provide that stuff. We provide consulting, or we provide designs or design solutions. Well, yeah, that's part of it. But you also have, you have content that you can package up, and it doesn't have to be paid, but you have a lot of subject matter expertise that you can package in different ways. And I think COVID has propelled that or accelerated that, because we're used to, in our industry, we go to conferences, we present at conferences, we get in front of conferences. Well, the firms that are getting ahead in digital marketing have taken that and have put on their own, produced their own kind of virtual events.
Because it's the same thing that you're doing at conferences. You're kind of giving away knowledge, you're sharing, you're educating. It's why people go to conferences, and it's the same reason people will look at your content online, because they're getting some value from it. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you see, in terms of, do you see a lot of uptick, or, what are firms not doing or not doing well in digital marketing?
Yeah, I think that there's still a lot of pushback. I mean, I still talk with principals. There's still firms out there that just don't even have a CRM or a contact database. So let's put that aside, because that's my day job. But there's still some firms that are just have this disbelief that, well, we don't need it. It's where I started in this industry in 2005. So that's when people were starting to get on the web, right? Yeah. Oh, we don't need a website. We don't need social media. That was, the early 2010s. Yep. So I think there's still a lot of pushback of, well, people they don't buy our services online. We're not an e-commerce site. We're not Amazon. They're not going to add it to the cart. And I agree, they're not. Right. But when somebody needs something, where's the first place they go search for it?
Yeah.
They go to Google and they search something. Or if they have a question about it, and they might not be searching, oh, I need architectural services, but they might be, what's the best roof type for this structure? Exactly. Or, what do I get if we want to go from lead silver to lead gold? What are the differences between those for my elementary school? Yeah. So they might be searching things like that. And you want your firm to be in that result, preferably one of the top ones, the top three. Yeah. And so I think it's this disbelief of, well, our clients aren't online. Our clients don't buy our services online. I think that's the biggest hurdle to get people to say, no, they are. That's the first place we all go. I mean, my dishwasher broke last night. The first place I went to go look, Bosch dishwasher repairman near me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not even just the Google search. It's if a big portion of your business can come from repeat business, it could be email marketing, and nurturing clients and reminding them of your expertise and, that kind of thing. I've had clients who have gotten work from long-term clients who got an email that we sent and they said, oh, I didn't know you had that expertise.
Oh,
This client they've worked with forever. So it's a whole like ecosystem, right? Of we all sit in front of computers nowadays, besides the people in the field. The decision makers are sitting in front of a computer. So you have to reach them where they're at. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So how can marketing not only support sales, but help sales generate leads? So, in the past, it was just sort of like marketing was just kind of the brochure giver, like they'd make the collateral, but how can they actually help and generate leads in AEC firms?
I think this is the most exciting thing, particularly for AEC, because the way that now that I'm in like the software, the technology industry, sales and marketing are more separate. And I think in the AEC, because of our pursuits and our proposals and our presentation processes are so collaborative between our seller doers, our principals, our marketing, our business development reps, like we're all working together on those pursuits. We already have a better relationship and we're not as siloed. I don't think it's other industries. Now you might be thinking that if you're at an AE firm, but trust me, it's way more siloed in other industries. So I think let's build on that. Let's have marketing. You already probably have a good idea about your clients and their pain points and what they're looking for because of the nature, what you find out when you're putting together proposals.
Right.
So how can you develop content around that? Or if maybe you haven't submitted proposals to them, you're pursuing new clients. Hopefully your sales team, if that's a seller, doer, or project manager, or BD person, hopefully they're talking to them. And so they're getting their pain points, they're getting what they're looking for, or the questions that they're asking your sales team. You ask your sales team what they're being asked. And then you can develop content around that. And because chances are, if they're asking you, they're Googling it. And so you can create content that answers those questions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. The salespeople are the ones kind of connecting, especially your seller doers are connecting with clients. They're going to have great input for content, the kind of content that will really kind of drive leads.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And in the same vein, how does thought leadership sort of drive growth overall? I mean, I guess that's almost asking the same thing. But how does it kind of promote that growth?
I think it's more helpful. Like the example I gave earlier about that, the fella at Kleinschmidt who is very specialized and he's built this platform around it. I think it's easier when you are known for a specialty,
right?
As opposed to just a generalist. We provide all engineering services. Well, okay, but who do you provide them to? Yeah. So I think you've got to get crystal clear on that. And maybe you provide all these other services, but maybe your thought leadership is just around one or a few. Yeah. And I think that'll make it easier on your resources or lack thereof of resources. And it will make it easier to focus and measure. So then you can actually measure your growth in one area. So I'll give you an example. The last firm I worked with, we had 6 major markets. But the markets themselves were very specialized. But when we started our content plan, we started with one market area.
I preach this all the time. Yep.
Because we needed to learn as a marketing and kind of get our training wheels and get all the systems in place to produce the content and then track the results. So you don't want to start that company wide. We still had other marketing in place and kind of our traditional stuff for the other markets, but we really, started with one as a pilot. And I think that is a good way to start it and kind of get some results to convince the naysayers really, or to get more resources to continue to do more and to build it out.
Yeah. I preach this constantly. I always say, pick one area, hone it, get some results, because it's very hard to achieve results when you're spread thin and you're kind of saying a million different things.
Yeah.
So pick an area and then show some results, show work that's come from it, and also kind of hone your processes and
the area that we picked, I mean, it was our commercial division or our commercial market. Talk about like, that's so broad, that's office buildings. So we started focusing on office buildings with secure areas or specialty labs, because we did a lot of defense contracting. So we wanted to build those offices that had those, I forget what they're called now because this was several years ago, but there's certain like safe, secure spaces and lab areas. So we focused on that and we built content around that. And it made it so much easier for everybody, even the engineers providing us the content, as opposed to trying to differentiate yourself on office buildings. I mean, that's really hard. Yeah.
The internet rewards niche expertise. It just does. I mean, Google rewards niche expertise. You know, it's sort of the idea of long tail keywords. The nicher you go, if you're competing on office building engineering, or that's a terrible term. Do you know what I mean? Versus, you know, what you were saying, the more niche, it's just easier to gain eyeballs on that. So yeah.
And it doesn't mean that other people that just want an office building won't come to you.
Right.
It just means that the people that you want to come, and most of the time, those niche things, they pay more too. So you don't have to do as many of them.
Right. Yeah. And I think a lot of marketers get caught in that trap of wanting to please everybody in the firm. And they think, oh, if I only focus on this one area, then so-and-so is not going to be happy, you know, and you kind of have to let go of that a little bit.
Yeah. And I think presenting it as a pilot or a test helps with that, because it frames it of, well, we're going to try this. And if it works, we're going to do it for everybody, or we're going to do it for the next market or the next area. But it, you know, or we'll refine and adjust and do it, but we're just going to do this one first. I think that helps ease the, you're ignoring me fears.
Right. Exactly. No, that's a really great point. Because it honestly is, that's what you're doing. So in terms of, let's talk about tactics. Like actual tactics that you see that are, you know, you really think, you know, these are what work well. And I know it's different for everybody, but are there particular kinds of things that you've seen, look, you know, tend to work better for AEC firms?
I think there are some that are not utilized enough. And so I think there are 3 areas where you can gain a lot of ground quickly and to get more buy-in for other tactics that are maybe more time intensive or resource intensive. The first one is email. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, email marketing, email nurturing. I will say that I know every AEC firm has a contact list. They send out, you know, the holiday card. So they have a contact list, and they only email that list once a year at the holidays. And they're missing a great opportunity to talk to those contacts, those clients, those potential contacts, their partners, their subconsultants, their vendors, and telling them what's going on, sharing some new thought leadership pieces. And email marketing is very inexpensive. I mean, it is very inexpensive to do. And so I don't see enough firms doing that.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so I think that is a really big missed opportunity on, you know, forget new clients, but just nurturing the contacts and the clients that you have. And what you said earlier, like cross-selling or cross-promoting services or locations. So I think that's one strategy I hope is on every person that's listening to this on their marketing plan for 2022.
Yeah.
The next one is SEO. So search engine optimization. If we're putting out content, or we have content and, you know, somebody did a presentation for a conference or whatnot, write it into a blog article, make sure it has those long tail keywords, make sure that your website is set up to be indexed correctly, in the search engine so people can find you. There's a lot of resources for it. I'm sure your firm offers services like that.
Yeah.
It's not that hard anymore. Right. It is really easy. I manage my own. My website's built on WordPress. My firm's website is built on HubSpot. They both have tools that you can use to help with your SEO. Yeah. And then the third area that I think is really often, is so overlooked, is Google My Business.
Yeah, it is overlooked.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
Google, you have to have a Gmail account. So you probably need to set up one for your firm, but wherever you have an office location, you can claim your business and your address and put in keywords and descriptions and office hours and phone numbers, and it's owned by Google. So every time you search your phone, like I was searching yesterday, dishwasher appliance repair people near me, it's bringing up their Google My Business.
Yep.
So it's just another opportunity. Again, that just probably takes somebody a couple hours, depending on how many offices you have, to set up. That is something that's, good to do between proposals or between marketing campaigns, to just make sure that you have all of that set up. I equate that into the SEO. That is part of SEO.
Absolutely.
So those are 3 very low or no cost items with the information you already have that you can start doing today, and you will probably start seeing results.
Yeah. It's so it is such I think just AEC, the AEC industry is just so used to not being kind of digital forward that, just like you said, a lot of them don't have a CRM. A lot of them haven't thought to do Google My Business, and it's just those easy tweaks really make a difference.
I like that.
Quickly.
Digital first. I think we need to be digital first.
Yeah. You have to.
I think our whole marketing plans need to start with the digital and then build the in-person stuff into that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So tell me about how to monitor the results of digital marketing. Like, what are some of the stats that AEC marketers should be tracking?
Yeah. So, depending on what campaigns you're doing, but if you're putting out thought leadership, let's say you're putting out thought leadership content, and let's say you put together an ebook or some kind of guide or checklist. If it's something that's more than a blog post, I would say you probably need to gate that content. And when I say gate, I mean, have somebody put their email address in to then get that download. Yeah. And so that is one piece of data to measure. So if you put together this ebook or this guide or this checkbook or checklist, how many people are downloading it? How many people are entering? And so for me, those would be new leads. Hopefully that would be connected to your CRM. So you can see if they were actually already in your system or they're new to, your world, to your funnel.
Your marketing ecosystem, if you will, or something. Yeah.
So that's a real easy measure to set up. And then the other one where we talked about lead nurturing. So everybody who hopefully that's listening to this is going to start email marketing. So let's put together some cadence once a month, once every other month, every other week. Let's, depending on your segments or if you want to do it to all, how many emails are you sending? What's your open rates, click-through rates? What are they clicking on? What are they engaging with? Yeah. Are they forwarding at them? And the people that are opening, again, if you can link it back to your CRM system, like shameless plug for the Blackbox Connectors, which ours does, to the Deltec products, you can see it's really interesting then for the salespeople to go in and see the contact and then see all their marketing activity. And so you can really see those people that are really highly engaged in your marketing, and maybe they already are a client, or maybe there's somebody you're pursuing or you're trying to get a meeting with. And so that's kind of more higher level, but I would say the first 2 are who's entering your funnel. And then once they're in your funnel, how are they responding to your nurturing?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. It's fun. It's fun to be able to see that stuff.
I'd like really geek out on it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about AEC firms that are serving mostly government clients. I've had the pushback before, like, oh, all our work is the DOT, and we can't really influence them through anything. They're just hard bid or that kind of thing. Do you believe it's worth investing in digital marketing for those kinds of audiences?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a different marketing strategy. So let's take the hard bids first. Hard bid, they just open up all the bids, the lowest price wins. That's what the hard bid is. But sometimes, if those prices are a couple $1 million, depending on the size of the project, a couple million or tens of $1 million difference, somebody might be going and checking out the bidder to see if they're like legit, if they're like super, super low. And so you want to have a website to just make sure you're legit. I do know my husband is a contractor, and he puts together bids. and he looks for sub-consultants, subcontractors, and he goes to their website to see if they're legit, especially for some of the bigger division. And so if you're a subcontractor, definitely you want to at least have like a basic website with your projects, maybe some testimonials, maybe a thought leadership piece or two about like your philosophy of, how you approach work or how you bid work. So that's for the subcontractors. For the general contractors that are doing a hard bid, your digital marketing is more of like legitimizing your business.
Right. Yeah,
it's more like we're not a fly by night contractor that's just coming in here and we're undercutting everything. So your content has a different strategy.
Yeah.
Now for like the value-based ones and all the other types they have now, some of that still applies. But you really they're probably going to be searching you up.
Right.
The decision makers and the procurement folks or like I said earlier, before they start putting together the RFP, they're probably going to be searching up probably the project managers or the program managers are going to be searching up different aspects of the project, especially if it's a real complex construction project or if it's under a certain grant. We have a lot of grants. We have a lot of federal funding now. They might have to write the RFPs specific ways to meet the grants. So if on your website, you can give grant information or what needs to be included. I don't know. I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head, but that would be some of the types of the content that I would want, if I was your marketing director, I would want us to put out there. Timely, relevant, kind of more stuff of like what's going on that would affect that procurement officer or that program manager for their project or their funding mechanism.
Right. Yeah. Got it. That's great. That's really great insight. And you kind of answered you've already answered my last question, which is how to address that kind of pushback. Is there anything else that you think you'd like to add there, or have we kind of covered that, how to get past that hurdle? Yeah,
I think that hopefully gives you some ideas of how to approach it. It is a tough battle.
It is. It's a shift in mindset.
Yeah, it's a shift in mindset. I think that what you said, the digital first, and then other things that you can do, just general, not just government or just regular leadership is, research, Hinge Research, S&PS Foundation. They do a lot of research and statistics on what professional services firms and specifically AEC firms are doing in marketing. Content Marketing Institute is another one. They give a lot of B2B statistics. And I think they've started doing B2G, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. On digital marketing and content marketing. And so arm yourself with statistics. And then look at what your competitors are doing.
Yep.
That's sometimes my old CEO would come into the marketing department and bring us what our competitors were doing. Because he was keeping an eye on what their marketing was doing. So he knew that we had to start doing something. So it was an easy sell to start that pilot project.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a great discussion. I'm really excited to have finally been able to kind of sit down and talk to you. So we've been talking to Lindsay Diven of Marketers Take Flight. So if people want to learn more about your training programs or get in touch with you about consulting, where should they go?
Yeah. So the easiest place, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Lindsay Diven. All of my contact information is there. I would love everybody that's listening to this or watching this, come and connect with me. Or you can find me at marketerstakeflight.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Spill the Ink, a podcast by Reputation Inc. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.